This is my trip to Ireland and my Spark retreat. I flew into Dublin, traveled up to Belfast, traveled around there a bit, then to Galway, Ireland, out to Connemara in the country, the cliffs of Moher. Then I hopped on a train and went back to Dublin for a couple more days and then flew home. I'm going to try to tell you a little bit about my trip as you get to watch my pictures. It's called the Emerald Isle because it's so green there because it rains a lot. I was really fortunate that I didn't run into much rain. Really only on the last day did I get really thoroughly rained upon, and then it really rained, but it was actually a good experience because I really lucked out. For a great experience, turn on your phone YouTube to Sean Tyrell for some Irish ballads to listen to while you're listening to me. It's awesome music. So I got to Dublin and hopped on a bus. Actually, I was scared to death. I was so happy when I saw a couple of friends who were coming to the retreat too. I didn't know them before, but we met and they recognized me from my Facebook picture, and so I was so happy to have somebody to ride on the bus up to Belfast with. There were great public transportation, buses and trains, and walking around was very common, and a lot more common than here actually. I feel kind of lazy thinking about how much walking I did there and how little I do here. Now, there were sheep everywhere all the time on the side of the roads. These sheep had come down from the mountains to get some water in the evening. But there were sheep everywhere. They were so cute. Kind of like the cows in Wisconsin, but little white fluffy sheep. Cars drive on the wrong side of the road, of course, like in Europe. That was pretty weird. But adorable sheep. Even some of the sheep were colored, I guess marked, kind of like a brand, but it was cute little coloring, blue and pink. I love this picture of the phone booth. This was called a monkey puzzle tree. I found a lot of things to be a puzzle when I was traveling. I just love the dog sitting outside the bar. And, oh my gosh, signs. There's such interesting signs. So, I saw this. I was a little alarmed. I didn't know what it meant. This guy is running. There's arrows all over the airport. What does it mean? Later, I figured out it was exit signs. They had just great signs, like you really know what they meant. They were pretty straightforward, no words. It was awesome. So no smoking, no drinking, no teenagers. I mean, no loitering. No need for general surgeon's words warning on cigarette packs. That is pretty good. You know what's going to happen if you smoke. Oh my gosh, so there was, not everywhere, but a few bathrooms where there were men in the women's bathroom washing their hands and coming out of stalls. Ah! Okay, it was alright. I'm alright. There's the hotel, the inn where I stayed in Crawfordsburn out in the country of Belfast, and that's where I had the creative retreat that I went to. It was so wonderful, life-changing, fun experience. There it is at night. Met many new friends, and just really learned a lot. It was beautiful old inn where we stayed, and it was the same inn that the author C.S. Lewis from the Chronicles of Narnia, he stayed there a lot and was very inspired by the woods out there behind the inn and wrote Chronicles of Narnia from this space. They had lots of breakfast and tea And oh, I imagined C.S. Lewis sitting in that chair across from me. And yeah, lots of tea, lots of cup of tea, really good food. Courage, dear hearts. I think that was something C.S. Lewis used to say. This little house was where C.S. Lewis stayed for his honeymoon, and that author right there that you saw in front of the little house wrote this book about C.S. Lewis's wife, Joy, that we don't know much about. This particular place I visited later reminded me of Car Parvel, if you know Chronicles of Narnia, and all the little street lights. Oh my gosh, the food was so great. It tasted so good. Everything was prepared with love and huge, enormous portions. Yeah, of course, sweets. They were so beautiful. And desserts and everything just seemed to be made with such wholesome ingredients. It was so tasty and more tasty than normal, I think. The stews and the chowders and the homemade breads. Of course, the Guinness, really a lot. Yes, I ate some oysters while I was there. Very proud of myself for venturing around, traveling, trying new things. There's candy. I'm taking a morning stroll to the train station to go downtown Belfast. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty out here. There. I noticed that there were some interesting phrases that I heard that I hadn't heard before. Like when I got to the hotel, the inn, they asked me, "Do you have a wee reservation?" And they must have been confused by the look on my face. I didn't understand, and then I realized many times people put the word "we" in front of things to maybe make me feel more comfortable. I'm not sure what it was. It was very endearing. I noticed signs and on the trains and buses that use the word "alight" and "dismount." And lots of spuds, lots of fruit scones and tea. And one of the things that I learned as I was enjoying walking around the countryside was something that I learned at the Spark Retreat, was to be willing to sit with the quiet, sit with myself. I learned that C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien were friends. They got together with other writers on a regular basis, which they called Inklings. It was like a group of writers, thinkers, poets, and they were friends. Tolkien was also in Ireland. C.S. Lewis was from Belfast, and Tolkien spent time out on the west coast of Ireland, on the Aran Isles, which he was inspired to write Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. Continuing on the Narnia trail, there's all sorts of interesting things just randomly placed. Oh. Aha. I knew it. Gnomes by Michelle Revis. The vast sea calls to me in chorus of gulls dancing on clouds. That's where I'll be, in unstoppable winds. That's where I'll go. Then I'll be free. The portal stands open. All I must do is pass. If it just weren't for the gnomes in the way on my path. Nearing the thicket, I almost turn back. The haughty gnome, peering atop spectacles, proclaims, "Reach the sea? You probably can't." Eyes closed tightly, I slip on past, dreaming of the freedom I will find at last. I freeze as an unnerving gnome appears up ahead. I know what he's thinking. I tremble in dread that I can't handle it. The vast ocean so deep. Turn back, go home, and return to your sleep. Why wander from safety? Why risk defeat? You'll probably fail. In the bogs you will sink. We, inconsequential, impetuous soul, don't you care what the others will think? I stumble on forward, eyes wet, feet muddy, as sun sinking, turning a deep golden ruddy. Then twinkles of light dance and play near wooded keep, singing so pure, shiny and sweet. Teasing me now, they sprinkle my head with visions of secret prosperities and dreams of my bed. Darkness sets in. Now I'm lost and afraid. Why am I out here? Why choose to be brave? Whispering gnomes, voices now echo in woods, saying, "Run home. You are vapid, and you are no good." The night is dark. I am blind and tired of the fight. It was then the lurid gnome spoke to my plight. The sea, the very freedom you seek, is here in the tears and the muck so deep, in terror and trembling of path uncertain. Embrace to transcend the murky forms into treasures of your yearning. Water sounds whisper like wisdom in the distance. Flow with the stream to meet less resistance. Stones underfoot begin to chatter. All roads lead to home, so path doesn't matter. Leaves agree, rustling, for wildness unbound becomes outcast home where joy can be found. I never made it to the sea, the vast sea that day, but in midst of uncertain, muddy decay, through inner gnome's wounds, now able and free, I did search, and I did find me. Being a miniature fairy gardener, I had to add this section of footage that I found when I was there in Ireland traveling about fairy gardens. I just saw fairy homes everywhere.